I Love You, a Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction written and narrated by Mira Rose. Artwork by Yane on Pixiv. You can find a link to Yane's Pixiv and Twitter in the description box. If you have those social media platforms, go give him a like and a follow. Really talented artist. I'll be using their art in a future video pretty soon as well that I'm sure a lot of you will really like. Now then, if you are still listening, don't forget to not only subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, but hit the like button and leave a comment to help the YouTube algorithm. If you don't know what to comment, put Young Love. Now then, please enjoy I Love You. Cat Noir, without a memory to his name. When Cat Noir's feet hit the ground, he found himself in a city of chaos. People were still screaming, and several people tore their way out of boxes that looked similar to the one they'd unknowingly jumped out of, dressed in seasonal party outfits. He squeezed Ladybug's hand, turning to look at her, but was taken aback by the Eiffel Tower behind her. They were in Paris? Cat! Ladybug shouted at him, turning his attention to a now familiar-looking wreath monster. She hadn't killed it? "We need to get out of here," he said, adjusting his grip on her. "Obviously some kind of cataclysmic event happened here, and— Cat, your hand!" He looked down to see dark orbs circling his free palm, but the wreath monster flipped itself back into a human shape and sprinted toward him before he could study it. Acting on instinct, Cat Noir pulled Ladybug behind him as he extended his hand into the stranger's chest to block her from running them over. The ribbon tied around her neck that flowed down her chest disintegrated as she howled, scaring him as he wondered what he did to her. A butterfly rose out of it, and before he could even think about it, a pair of scissors whizzed past his face. "Don't you dare keep up this evil act, little butterfly!" "Nice," Cat said, watching the butterfly twitch, pinned to a lamppost by the scissors. "It's like you said," Ladybug shrugged. "It's a lucky charm." A wave of light engulfed them and everything around them, so intense he had to shield his eyes with his elbow. When Cat squinted them back open, he was in the middle of the street, holding Ladybug's hand. He turned to look at her, and she seemed just as baffled. Did they announce themselves as dating or something? As soon as he had the thought, Ladybug ripped her hand away from his. "Come on," she said. "We don't know how much time we have left." Cat looked down at his beeping ring. "I've got 5. He flicked his eyes to her earrings and paled. Less than a minute. Before she could get a word in, he swept her off her feet and dashed away, finding refuge as her transformation wore off. "Thanks," she said, her hand on his chest as he held her. "For sure." "What do you think happened?" "I'm sure the Ladybug will update us soon." "Of course," she chuckled, complete with rumors that we're a couple. He put her down as his face grew hot, not using the chance to tease her like he would have a week ago. They were a couple now. He could understand why she wouldn't be forthright with the public about that now, but would that matter? All of Paris knew they'd do anything for the other, so did they have to keep it a secret? Was she planning on keeping this between the two of them? Oh, anxiety. Please don't run off track. As if reading his mind, Marinette placed a hand on his shoulder and smiled. She'll freak when she finds out. Alia? He choked out, surprised she mentioned it. Of course. We're going to tell her? His heart swelled, and he had to blink back tears at the idea of it. She wanted that? Ladybug wanted to be seen together? In public? With him? The nagging thought stuck in the back of his head all week pounded at the thought. Despite him trying to assure himself otherwise, Adrien worried that his partner only dated him because he was Adrien aggressed. And while he'd take any excuse for their relationship, the one thing he wanted more than any in the world, including a better home life, was to stand next to her as a boyfriend in the position that meant the most to him. Her partner. "What? Are you embarrassed of me or something?" she joked, looking away as she said it. Wait. No. That was supposed to be a joke, right? Then why did it sound like one of the questions he'd ask as a joke, but secretly cling to every word in response? Did Marinette have the same anxiety as he did? If so, was it the nature of their relationship itself, or because of how it started? Maybe the Santa hat and cardboard cutout weren't good things after all. Never. He took her hand in his and laced their fingertips as his ring beeped a final warning. "If there's anything to shout from the rooftops, it's that His transformation wore off right as he caught himself about to say 3 words that meant too much. Oops. "What were you saying?" she asked, blinking a few times from the light. "Well, now I look too ridiculous to say them," Adrien joked, looking toward the sky to guide her attention to the felt antlers of his reindeer onesie. Marinette laughed, adjusting their handhold. "Shall we go change into something a bit more comfortable?" she asked. "What, and not take photos in this?" "Something tells me our dear photographer will be more excited about the Akuma fight than taking photos of us." "Says you. Apparently Olia's been shipping us for the better part of a year now. I'm gonna say she's excited to take photos of us, considering she doesn't know we're dating yet. Unless you've told her." She pursed her lips, eyes wide. Yeah. Strange. She wanted us to date? Crazy. I wonder where she got that idea." "Have you told her yet?" She looked away. "Not yet. You?" "I haven't had the chance to talk to Nino yet. I'd rather spend my time with you." Adrien realized what a male lead line that was after he said it, but Marinette didn't seem to mind. "We should tell them, shouldn't we?" "Yeah, we should." They stared at the other, then both pulled out their phones and started typing. Both of their phones started ringing moments after they each sent a text, but neither of them made any effort to answer. Should we pick it up?" Adrien asked. "How about we change into normal people clothes for now?" Marinette said, raising her voice over the sound of her ringtone. It sounded awfully close to the background music for his perfume ad, actually. He didn't know she liked elevator music. "Sounds good to me." He stuffed his phone, blasting the theme song from the Ladybug and Cat Noir movie, into his pocket before turning back, taking Marinette and her cute dress in, then leaning in and placing a kiss on her forehead. "Let's go." Once they changed into coats and mittens, the young couple trekked out to meet their friends in the park, as well as their reactions. To say that chaos ensued would be both an overstatement and an understatement. To be less vague, a snowball fight ensued between Adrien, Nino, Marinette, and Alia, and their conversation was carried in yells as they checked snow at the others. So, when Alia took out her phone and started snapping photos, As the snow fight turned into a less violent mini snowman making competition, Adrien finally allowed himself to relax into his relationship with his girlfriend, perhaps for the first time. The worries of the season and the changes his actions brought seemed to melt away among the snow and twinkling streetlights. For tonight, for this moment, they were just teenagers in a park in Paris, enjoying good company. Adrien and Marinette went to Starbucks after saying goodnight to Nino and Alia, happy and chattering like normal teenagers in a normal relationship. "Oh, that's cute," Marinette said, pointing out a tree in a shop window as they left with their drinks. "The tree?" "The ornament." He took a closer look to see that this wasn't a trinket shop, but rather a photography studio that offered custom items with photos inside. Cute. Romantic. "Yeah." Her reply came out with a sigh, her breath clouding up the glass as she took a closer look. Watching her gaze through the window, her face glowing from the lights on the Christmas tree on the other side of the glass, he slipped up. Without thinking about it, Adrien released words he couldn't take back. "I love you." He didn't realize he said it aloud until she whipped her head around, wide eyes meeting his and mouth agape. Had she pretended to not hear it, he could have avoided the consequences of the night. "You do?" she exclaimed. Suddenly, the soft, twinkling lights on the street were a sun lamp, burning his face red as his throat begged for water. Sorry, he said, squeezing his eyes shut. Sorry, it's too early for that. Sorry, you don't need to reply. It's fine. It's fine. You don't need to do that." His heart dropped as she let go of his hand, his eyes still squeezed shut. Of course. It was him. It was always him begging for a relationship with this girl. She had no reason to feel the same intensity as he. He jolted as her fingers touched his jawline, snapping open his eyes to see her cupping his face as she looked up at him. "No!" she exclaimed. "No? You dork! Don't just decide how I feel. Ask me, silly." "Ask you? I love you too!" Her eyes widened as the words escaped her, her fingers retreating from his face to cover her mouth, which did nothing to hide her pink cheeks. "Oh. Wait. What? No. It was near a miracle she liked him enough to start dating. There's no way she could, well, there's no way he could be anything more than a passing fancy at this point, right? Had she misspoken? Used the wrong word? Love him like a friend or even a brother? You do? It was all he could afford to say as his tongue choked his throat. You... Marinette sighed into her hands, peeking at him through her fingers. You do realize I've liked you forever, right? What? Wait, what? You know, the whole I've got a crush on someone else. Of course he couldn't forget she liked someone else. That bit of information ravaged him like a firestorm night after night. I know you do. I just, hope you learn to like me more. You think... She stared at him, her hands dropping to her sides. You think I'm dating you even though I like someone else? Don't you? He didn't want the answer. Don't you like someone else? Adrien, aggressed! She yelled. Yes? No, you! She crossed her arms, nose scrunched. The scarf! The scarf? The ladybug scarf! What about it? You know, the whole, it's like we're in a magical girl manga! Yeah, because you gave something to me without realizing you made it for me. She stared at him, eyebrows knit. Did you miss the whole, I made it for the guy I liked? Come to think of that, he felt quite guilty over that detail. Pre-reveal. Oh. Yeah. So the guy Ladybug likes, yeah, is the same guy Marinette likes, you goof! Oh! How had he missed that? How long? He dared to ask. Remember becoming superheroes? Of course. It's the same day I fell for you. Yeah, same. Really? He bit his lip. Didn't we start off on the wrong foot? Never mind that. Point is, it's not too early. It's not too early? To tell you I love you! She clapped a hand over her mouth at her second-time confession as a piece of kindling caught fire in his heart, burning away all doubt he'd fostered. This was real. It wasn't luck or chance, was it? This was real. I love you too, Adrien confessed, his voice low and soft. And that moment, burned into his memory, is what magic is made of. It was a moment that he wanted to preserve forever and hang on a Christmas tree, year after year, to remember it as clearly as he could. Adrien would remember the weight and happiness of his first I love you for as long as he lived. Thank you so much for listening. You can find other Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction on this channel, although I recommend this one next. If you're still listening and you haven't liked the like button, well, what are you doing? And don't forget to leave a comment for the YouTube algorithm. If you don't know what to comment, put Adrien, you goof. I will catch you in the next one. Bye!